We are also joined now by the maths whiz, Bobby Seagull, because the decision to pause the queue has set some of you number crunching, I think is probably the right expression. Bobby Seagull among them. And what have you been able to deduce now you've looked at the numbers?
Yes, so this is a time for our listeners to have a quick school maths or physics revision lesson. So remember the equation speed equals distance over time. So this is going to be our friend. So we can adapt that to actually the queue itself. And we get the average speed of the queue equals the length of the queue divided by how long it takes people to get from the back to the very front. And obviously, as a math teacher, I'll say the queue can get quicker or slower. So this is just an average. And this is where, Ed, we rely on the data we have from the official figures, because we know that the queue was paused at 4.9 miles. And they told us actually it will take us 14 hours to get from the back to the front. And we can use this to get us our first sum, a calculation. So 4.9 miles divided by 14 hours, hope the listener's still listening, gives us 0.35 miles per hour. Or for those that like metric, 563 meters per hour. And that 0.35 miles per hour is going to be very useful, because the question people might be thinking is, when is the last possible moment I can join the queue just to make it in time for when the lying in state closes at 6:30 a.m. on Monday? So that's the big question. And mathematically, we always have to make some assumptions, because, that's what models are for. And here are the two key assumptions. One is we're going to assume that the average speed of the queue is still going to remain 0.35 miles an hour. And that's quite an important assumption. And the second one, Ed, is the DCMS guidance, because they said the max length of the queue is going to be 10 miles, although they've paused at 4.9 right now, but they've said the max length is 10 miles.
Okay,
so now
you've got a minute. You've got to give us the answer. So you've got a minute.
We're going to get there. We're going to get there. So the time is distance divided by the speed. So 10 miles divided by 0.35 miles an hour gives us 28 and a half hours. So if you want to reach the queue before the 10-mile guidance, as it were, you need to be there just before 2 a.m. on Sunday morning. That's 1:55 exactly. So that is the maths for you.
We got the punchline in the end. Thank you very much indeed for doing those sums. And our headlines